The Aegean Sea has been shaking in recent days. Since February 2nd, 2025, more than 200 earthquakes have been recorded in and around Santorini Island. The largest of these was measured at a magnitude of 5.1, and on February 3rd, 2025, 4 consecutive magnitude 5 earthquakes occurred. What at first seemed like a simple seismic activity has turned into a growing concern. So what do these tremors portend? A possible major earthquake? Or the first stages of a chain of disasters? Santorini has witnessed great tremors throughout its history. The magnitude 7 earthquake that hit the region in 1956 and the tsunami that followed left deep traces in the island's history. But this time, the situation is different. Greek authorities are worried that the activity generated by small earthquakes could turn into an earthquake storm. While some experts say it is not linked to volcanic activity, others say the quakes could be a harbinger of serious changes in the Earth's crust. The Aegean Sea is one of the most complex seismic zones in the world. Here, the African plate is in conflict with the Eurasian plate, resulting in intense seismic activity. This region lies on an active seismic belt known as the Hellenic Arc. Beneath Santorini are the remains of an ancient supervolcano. This geological structure makes the region high risk for earthquakes and potential volcanic activity. Fault lines in the Aegean Sea usually produce shallow, focused earthquakes. Such earthquakes can be more destructive because they are close to the surface. The increased tremors in recent days point to the activity of these fault lines. This kind of seismic activity can sometimes be the foreshocks of major earthquakes, said Kostas Papazachos, professor of geophysics at the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki. It is difficult to say anything for sure at the moment, but precautions should be taken. Dr. Nikos Melas of the National Observatory of Athens said, "The fault lines under the Aegean Sea are very complex and active. Such small-scale earthquakes may not always signal a catastrophe, but we have to be careful," said Dr. Nikos Melas of the National Observatory of Athens. Some geologists warn that this seismic activity could trigger the main fault lines in the Aegean. If a major earthquake strikes, it could affect not only Greece but also the western coast of Turkey. In particular, coastal cities such as Izmir, Bodrum, and Çanakkale could be at risk. In such a case, Santorini, Crete, and even some coastal cities in Turkey could be at risk, experts say. While such a scenario is unlikely, authorities are not ruling it out. Early warning systems have been activated against the risk of a tsunami. Tsunami warning signs have been updated along the Santorini coastline to raise public awareness. Turkey's Disaster and Emergency Management Presidency is closely monitoring the earthquake storm. Although it is stated that the closest earthquake to Turkey occurred 140 kilometers away, the tremors felt especially in and around Izmir have caused concern among the people of the region. Authorities emphasize that there is no major risk at the moment, but seismic activity should be carefully monitored in the coming days. The Aegean region has witnessed many devastating earthquakes in the past. Major disasters such as the 1999 Gölcük earthquake made Turkey face the reality of earthquakes. Experts point out that lessons should be learned from such events and building safety and emergency plans should be updated. The Greek government took swift action to minimize the devastating effects of a possible major earthquake. Special rescue teams, drones, and medical teams were sent to Santorini. At the same time, islanders were advised to stay away from coastal areas, check water supplies, and prepare for emergency evacuation plans. Schools will remain closed until Monday, and security measures will be increased at critical points. Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis said, "The safety of the people of the region is our top priority. We must be prepared for every eventuality," he said, emphasizing that the concerns were justified. In addition, hospitals in the region have been made ready for a possible emergency. The government has set up temporary shelters in some parts of the island, creating safe areas for families that could be affected by the earthquake. But will there really be a major earthquake in the Aegean Sea? Or are these tremors just a passing movement? Scientists cannot make a precise prediction, but one thing is clear: the Aegean Sea is more active than ever, and this activity could be a harbinger of a major event that could affect the lives of thousands of people. Time will tell, but we may not be able to prevent these natural disasters, but we can prepare for them. Heeding the warnings, heeding the advice of scientists, and taking the necessary precautions will be our most powerful weapon to minimize the effects of a possible disaster. The Aegean Sea was formed about 350 million years ago as a result of the pushing of the African and Eurasian plates. It was previously a sea of islands between Asia and Europe. But later, as a result of the pushing of the African and Eurasian plates, the rising land masses formed what is now Turkey and Greece, forming the Aegean Sea in the middle. This region, which has hundreds of islands, has hosted mystical events throughout human history. From the Greek gods to the birth of Christianity, from mermaids to pirates like Jack Sparrow, and even, some researchers claim, to Atlantis. According to another thesis, first a single landmass was formed by the plates pushing each other. Thousands of years later, the plates moved again and pulled a part of the landmass down to form the Aegean Sea. Maybe both are true. After all, there is a never-ending seismic activity in this region and hundreds of fault lines. Earthquakes and tsunamis over 7 magnitude once every 50 years, and giant volcano eruptions once every 500 years, and a chain of disasters big enough to sink Atlantis. No wonder there are so many gods in this geography. The island of Santorini is the result of thousands of years of volcanic activity. The Thera eruption, which occurred about 3,600 years ago, created a gigantic catastrophe that affected not only the Aegean Sea, but also a large part of the Mediterranean Sea. This eruption caused tsunamis and global climate changes that led to the collapse of the Minoan civilization. Santorini's present crescent-shaped geographical structure is a legacy of this gigantic eruption. The caldera in the center of the island is a huge depression formed by devastating volcanic eruptions. This caldera still has an active volcanic system, and seismic activity is often linked to this area. Scientists say Santorini's volcanic system is dormant, but recent earthquakes may signal that the silence could be broken. Earthquakes in volcanic regions are often associated with the movement of magma in the Earth's crust. The seismic activity in Santorini may be an indicator of magmatic activity underground. The rise of magma creates pressure in the Earth's crust, which leads to small earthquakes. If this pressure continues, there is a risk of a major volcanic eruption. Santorini's volcanic history has the potential for a global disaster, not just a regional one. The effects of the Thera eruption may have reached as far as Egypt and even inspired the legend of Atlantis in ancient Greek mythology. Today, a similar eruption scenario could lead to massive tsunamis in the Aegean, global climate impacts, and a large-scale humanitarian crisis. Since ancient times, people have preferred to live here due to Santorini's fertile soil and strategic location. The Minoans had established an advanced civilization on the island. However, the Thera explosion almost completely destroyed this civilization. Over the centuries, the island was rebuilt many times, but always faced seismic and volcanic threats. Today, Santorini is known worldwide as a popular tourist destination. Famous for its whitewashed houses, blue-domed churches, and breathtaking sunsets, the island is also a natural wonder. However, this beauty hides potential dangers underground. Santorini, visited by thousands of tourists, could face a major humanitarian crisis in the event of a volcanic eruption or a major earthquake. Geologists and seismologists emphasize that Santorini is a critical seismic zone, not only for Greece, but for the entire Mediterranean. Recent earthquakes could be signs that magma chambers underground are moving. Seismic activity, especially around the caldera, could herald a volcanic eruption. Professor Maria Constantinou of the University of Athens said, "The volcanic system under Santorini is still active. The seismic activity could be a sign that this system could wake up," says Professor Maria Constantinou from the University of Athens. Similarly, Dr. George Papadakis of the International Center for Volcanological Research said, "Such an eruption would affect not only Greece, but the entire Mediterranean region. That's why we have to watch Santorini carefully," adds Dr. George Papadakis of the International Center for Volcanological Research. If the volcanic system in Santorini causes a major eruption, it could cause massive destruction both on land and at sea. Massive tsunamis could hit cities along the Aegean coast. The islands near Santorini and even the west coast of Turkey could be affected by these tsunamis. In addition, clouds of volcanic ash could stop air traffic and ruin agricultural fields. In the worst-case scenario, a super eruption similar to the Thera eruption could even affect the global climate. Volcanic ash could block sunlight in the atmosphere, leading to a condition called volcanic winter. This could lead to severe declines in agricultural production and global food crises. Behind its postcard-perfect beauty, Santorini harbors a silent danger. It lurks in the heart of the Mediterranean Sea today, as it did thousands of years ago. Earthquakes may be the first signs of this danger to surface. Scientists and authorities are taking these silent warnings seriously. No one knows for sure what awaits us, but Santorini's history is a reminder of the power of nature and the fragility of humanity in the face of that power. A potential catastrophe could be not only a natural phenomenon, but also an indication of the human-nature relationship throughout history. That's why Santorini should be seen not only as a tourist island, but also as a warning sign that demonstrates the power of nature. Because nature always reminds us, even when we are not ready. With these events unfolding and the fear of earthquakes, we looked at the past and the present. Hopefully the Santorini volcano will not erupt again, and the sad events of the past will not happen again. Hopefully these will be temporary small earthquakes. We will continue to follow the developments and inform you again. Follow the Disaster Watch channel and turn on notifications. Let you be aware of the developing events. If you like and comment on the video, you will support me for new videos. Thanks for watching. Stay healthy, friends.